Tokyo Beatdown for the Nintendo DS is probably one of the most kick-ass games I've ever played. Mind you, I'm also a really big fan of beat-em-ups on pretty much any system, and I grew up on things like Streets of Rage 2 and 3 and Final Fight and all that, so I had to get this game as soon as I saw it. Then it had Atlus on it, so that also gave me more incentive to check it out, since most of the titles that they bring out I really dig quite a bit. But anyway, so back to the topic at hand. Tokyo Beatdown is probably one of the funniest games I've ever played too. It's not too often I can get a game and the entire time I'm usually just laughing my ass off at it, but this one, yeah, definitely did it. And you don't really expect that from a beat 'em up. It's just go from point A to point B, kick the shit through people, and then eventually you beat the game. The end. Well, this one offers you just a little bit more. You get side missions where you get to beef up your dude a little bit more. Not so in-depth like River City Ransom or anything, but all the same, you get skill tabs and you just get longer combos. That's pretty much it. And more health. That's very, very handy, especially if you want to live. Always a nice idea. But whenever you are playing the game, you have to realize that they pretty much use sarcasm like throughout the entire thing. Like Lewis Cannon, the main character, yeah, that dude's out of fucking control. Like, he's really awesome, and I love him to death. He's one of those all about justice and bad guys always have to pay type characters. So anything that he really does just seems over the top, even to the villains. Just from half the responses that he says, they look at him like they're completely puzzled and confused, which adds a whole lot more amusement to it. Kind of like this. Brilliant. Just brilliant. The gameplay in Tokyo Beatdown is pretty much exactly what you would expect. You walk from one side of the stage to the other, and everybody you encounter you just punch in the fucking face, or you kick them in their teeth, or whatever the case is, you have to beat up everybody because they're all enemies. And remember, if you see a box or a barrel, you break it open, there's food inside, you eat it, because that's what you do in all beat 'em ups. You find food and eat it, because, well, you have to keep going. But anyway, so it's your basic fanfare as far as the controls go. You have punch, you have kick, you have throw, you have super specials, and you have weapons that you pick up. It's pretty much like every other one. They're really not much different, but you do get to find these really handy scrolls which basically give you the ability to do bigger and longer combos that involve more roundhouse kicks and uppercuts and just make you into an insane killing machine. Or, I don't know, beatdown machine in this case, I guess. Maybe? Yeah. Now, throughout the course of the game, you get to take control of 3 characters. You get Lewis Cannon, who's the main character and the one that makes the game so enjoyable to begin with. But you also get 2 other characters who are on the Beast Cops force with you. And that'd be Rika, the hot chick with the big knockers, and Bondo, the really huge dude who's pretty much your boss, and he powerbombs people. That's fucking awesome as shit to begin with. So, each character, they all have their own moves. Pretty much, you get to see the big differences whenever you use their specials and their grab moves. But, I mean, their punches and kick combos, they're pretty much the same exact thing. It's a punch and kick combo. You really aren't going to change it all that much. And the scrolls that you acquired by using Lewis, you get to carry those over to them, so they get to use the same amount of moves that he does. And that's really nice. Now, in between every single stage that you go through in the game, you're given all types of story events and cutscenes that you get to read through, and that's where all the funny shit comes into play. The thing is, the art style that they pick for it, I love, because it reminds me of Fist of the North Star, but also reminds me of a bunch of 80s Hong Kong action flick posters. If you've ever seen them, it pretty much looks a lot like this. There's tons of exaggeration thrown in from people's expressions where they're like, to just really angry, where they look like they have lightning coming out of their eyes and shit. So yeah, I really love that a whole bunch. And it helps you pretty much get really into the moment, because just viewing stuff like that makes it a hell of a lot funnier whenever you have really serious dialogue to accompany it. The boss battles in a game, they get really, really fucking hard. Like, sometimes going through the stage really isn't a difficult task whatsoever. You can kind of just smack all the enemies around, like, at your own leisure. But as soon as you get to the boss, yeah, that's when they start just, you know, filling the room with shit and expect you to eat your way out. Because you'll have the boss running around, they got this big-ass life bar, they pull out rocket launchers and stuff, and they're cheap as shit. But the thing that sucks the most, a never-ending supply of goons just rain down from the ceiling and just keep on kicking the shit out of you. My best advice? Do the grab move as much as you possibly can. Just run up to the boss, grab them, make sure you're turning towards all the other bad guys, and fuck them up. Because that's what got me through almost all the boss battles. Other than that, though, they're a lot of fun. Yeah, boss battle. Now, my gripes as far as the game goes, they're few and far between. One of which is the game lacks co-op. No multiplayer, no co-op, no nothing. It's just, that's unheard of as far as I'm concerned. Whenever you have a beat 'em up, that was one of the biggest and best features of the game, is that you can go buddy up with a friend and kick the shit out of everybody together. That's awesome. You don't want to have to sit around with a friend and just watch and then go and take turns all the time, especially on a handheld. You can't really just lean over their shoulder and be like, oh, let me check that out. No, that's pretty annoying. But yeah, they have no co-op, and that sucks. Really, really fucking bad. But what can you do? And the other one is, anytime that you get knocked down, say you're using a shotgun, handgun, any kind of weapon really, whenever you get knocked down and you have a big clusterfuck of enemies that are just coming in on you, well, the thing is, you usually want to stand up and try to get them all to go away immediately. Well, whenever you go and you hit the L trigger, your guy doesn't really pull out their gun immediately, you know, and bang! Nope, doesn't happen. A lot of times you have to get up and you have to see the entire motion of them standing and then press at the right time. At that point, they're usually handing you your own spleen and your teeth. So it doesn't help a whole lot that you can't use your weapon immediately whenever you get up. So, minor gripe, but whatever. And the last would probably be the fact that the game isn't really long, but no beat 'em up is all that long. So, considering I enjoyed this one so much, I did want the game to last a whole lot longer, at least like another hour or two. But for $15, I really can't complain. I mean, that's $15 brand new. Like, you go run out to Gamestop right now and go pick it up. So you should do that, because this is probably one of the funniest and best games you can get on the DS, and it'd be something to do for a day. So go out and buy Tokyo Beat 'em Up. Motherfucker!